Fusion Mobile, quality e-learning experience on the go.
Communication. Communication is the process of exchange or transmission of meaningful information, feelings, opinions, and ideas from one person to another or from one place to another. Talking about the development and means of communication in Nigeria. In Nigeria, the earliest means of communication is the human voice. Communication then was based on the level of development at the time. Many other means of sending and receiving messages have been developed over the years. Talking about the traditional media of communication, we have the town criers, the wooden or talking drums, the gun blast, the smoke signal, palm fronds, metal gongs. The wooden or talking drum, as a traditional medium of communication, is used to pass messages to the people within a community. The beating of the drum produces different sounds for different messages. The head of a community uses it to assemble his people in a place. This instrument, as the name implies, is made of wood. Town criers. The town criers pass information from one place to another on foot or horseback. They use different instruments to draw people's attention. The metal gong. This is a hollow metal beaten with another metal to make announcements to members of a traditional community. On hearing the sound, people gather at the village square to hear or discuss the latest development in the community. The gun blast. Gunshots are used to mark or signify traditional festivals and burials in some African communities. Hunters also use gunshots for communication purposes during hunting expeditions. By setting bushes on fire, the smoke can be used as a means of communication. Whosoever sees the smoke signal will know that something is happening. The palm as a means of traditional communication signifies peace during a period of chaos. Other traditional means of communication includes the use of whistles, trumpets, flutes, and bells. We have two major forms of communication, and they include the oral communication and the written communication. The oral communication is a form of communication in which people exchange information through spoken words in different languages. Oral communication can be done through face-to-face communication, through physical contact, etc. People communicate by speaking languages understood by them in oral communication. The written communication is a means of communication done through the exchange of written documents. Messages are transmitted through telex, mails, telegrams, etc. This form of communication makes it possible to keep permanent records. Importance of communication includes 1. Communication helps to promote commercial activities. The use of telecommunication has enhanced the settlement of debt through telegraphic money transfer, like the Western Union money transfer. It has helped to create awareness of goods and services. Through communication, the cost and risk involved in traveling long distances for business transactions can be greatly reduced. Communication facilitates contact between businessmen. Communication also enhances international trade, and it also provides information for government policies. Other communication services include the Nigerian Postal Services, the Nigerian Telecommunication Limited Services, the Computer Services, the Satellite Services, the Courier Services. The Nigerian Postal Services (NIPOST) is an extra ministerial department under the Ministry of Communication. The first post office in Nigeria was established in 1856 in Lagos. It was charged with the responsibility of ensuring proper handling of mails. Now, post offices are located in all major towns and cities in Nigeria. NIPOST renders both postal and payment services to the public. By postal services, we mean the parcel post, the registered letters, the ordinary letters, the express letters, the private boxes and bags, the licensing of franking machine, the poste restante, the recorded delivery, the business reply service. The parcel post service ensures that parcels are handed to the post office for onward transmission from the person that is the sender to another. They are weighed in order to determine the appropriate charges. Parcel post involves heavy documents which cannot be posted. The registered letters. This service, provided by the post office, ensures that letters are registered after making payment in order to safeguard them. This attracts higher charges than ordinary letters, and for the registration, receipt is issued. Registered letters have lines drawn at the back horizontally and vertically across the envelope. The person to whom this letter is sent will be given a notification slip that will enable him to claim the letter, and compensation will be paid if it is lost. The ordinary letter mails are distributed by the post office to its numerous customers. Ordinary mails include first class and second class mails. Before a letter can be delivered, stamps must be affixed on it. Letters may be official or personal and can be sent by air, land, or sea. The express letter. Express letters are sent and delivered to their destination quickly and urgently. Any mail with express written on it must be given priority to ensure quicker delivery than the one sent ordinarily. An express letter attracts higher charges and is delivered by the next available transport. The private boxes and bags. These are services rendered to people by renting out a box or bag at the post office to the people. Letters belonging to owners of these boxes and bags are sorted out and kept in the box or bag. The users of the boxes or bags are given keys to unlock their boxes or bags to collect mails any time. Licensing of franking machine. This service is possible when a company with large customers receive franking machine under license from the post office in order to stamp or frank its own mail with postage impression. The machine will automatically record the number of franked mails in its meter. This saves time and the energy that would be expended when using stamp for many mails. The firm pays advance charges to the post office. The business reply service. This is a service provided by the post office to enable firms wishing to obtain replies from clients without putting the customers at the expense of paying postage fees. The firm would have supplied their self-addressed envelopes or cards which will be used for reply. The firm acquires a license after paying an annual fee to cover the cost of postage, which is based on the number of replies received. The recorded delivery. This is a service provided by the post office to enable the person sending to have a proof of delivery. There is no preferential treatment over the mail in transit. The recorded delivery is good for important documents, as certificate of posting will be sent to the sender while charges are paid. The poste restante. Here, the post office provides this service to travelers or tourists that are visiting another town. They will enter into agreement with the post office so that their mails will be addressed to the post office. The mail must be marked poste restante. The individual involved must provide evidence of his identity when calling to receive his mail from the post office. Now, talking about payment services rendered by NIPOST. They include the money order, the postal order, the cash on delivery services, the settlement of payment, and the sales of stamps. Postal order is a means of payment provided by the post office to transfer small sums of money by post to ensure payment or to settle debts. Postal orders are valid for 6 months, and commission called the poundage are paid to the post office. Postal orders are in various denominations and are not negotiable. The cash on delivery services is a service provided by the post office which ensures that businessmen can collect money on the delivery of parcel. It is good for mail order business. The post office will collect money on delivery and remit to the supplier. The money order. The money order service ensures that large amount of money is sent through the post office. Money order is safer than postal order. It is an order made by one post office to another specified post office for payment of a specified sum of money on demand to a named person. Settlement of payment is also used occasionally to settle small amounts of payment by post for items such as catalog. The sales of stamp. NIPOST sells postage stamps of different denominations to their customers. The Nigerian Telecommunication Limited. Nigerian Telecommunication Limited was incorporated as a limited liability company to provide telecommunication services to the public, oversee the transmission of messages and information from one place to another. Their services are usually very fast. These services provided by NITEL to the public includes 1. Offering telephone services, rendering telex services, providing satellites for transmission, rendering data transmission or data service, fax or internet. NITEL also renders photo telegram services. There are different forms of telephone services, and they include the subscriber trunk dialing service, the international subscriber dialing, the private branch exchange, the public telephone booth, the radio telephone, directorate, telex services. Forms of telephone services includes the subscriber trunk dialing, the international subscribers dialing, the private branch exchange, public telephone booth, radio telephone, directorate. The Nigerian Telecommunication Services also provides telex services, telegram services, provision of fax services, maritime mobile services, transmission of live telecast. The computer services. The computer services includes the internet service, the worldwide. Computer services includes internet services, worldwide website, and the email. The email is simply a way of sending electronic message from one person to another, while the World Wide Website is a graphical multimedia portion of the internet. It is not in itself the internet, but it gives you a graphical ease to navigate interface for looking at documents on the internet. Internet services. Internet is a global network of computers which communicates using a common language. It is similar to the international telephone system, except that no one owns or controls the network. No single person or group can be credited as the inventor of the internet. Although it was the USA military that set the ball rolling by the end of the 1960s with a communication network called Advanced Research Project Agency Network. The satellite. A satellite is a communication equipment which is deployed and stationed in the space to send signals to different countries of the world. Satellites are systems of global transmission of signals from one place to another. With the satellite, it is now possible for live telecast of an event in Lagos to be watched in America. Satellite enhances the work of NITEL as all nations are linked together through satellites. A satellite provides telephone and television links among nations of the world. It ensures international or global transmission of messages. It ensures that live events are covered and watched simultaneously all over the world. Video conferencing meetings are made possible by satellite television transmission. The courier services. Courier services are duties rendered by privately owned courier companies to provide reliable and efficient means of conveying urgent documents within and between cities and towns. Their services includes fast and reliable delivery of letters, documents, and parcels. Companies providing courier services in Nigeria includes the DHL, the FedEx, the UPS, the IAS, etc. Differences between courier services and public postal services includes 1. In courier services, service is faster and reliable, while in public postal services, service is not as fast and reliable. There are higher charges for service in courier services, while in public postal services, the charges are lower. There are longer hours of service in courier services, while there are shorter hours of service in the public postal services. Courier services provide insurance cover for documents, while in the public postal services, documents are not insured. There is door-to-door services in the courier services, while there is no door-to-door services in the public postal services. Documents are safe and secured in the courier services, while documents are not as safe and secured as courier. Services are rendered by private individuals in the courier services, while services are rendered by government enterprises in the public postal services.